I will get the top of you. Boom, 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 moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the...
After nearly 3 decades since the terrifying virus first engulfed the UK in the cult classic 28 Days Later, and its intense sequel 28 Weeks Later, fans are finally preparing to return to the post-apocalyptic horror with 28 Years Later. As the anticipation surrounding this long-awaited third installment reaches a fever pitch, the movie has quickly become one of the most talked-about upcoming releases in horror cinema. The mere announcement has stirred a wave of excitement, nostalgia, and curiosity from fans of the original films who vividly remember the chilling tone, gritty realism, and horrifyingly fast Infected that redefined zombie storytelling for the 21st century. With the original creative minds, Danny Boyle and Alex Garland, returning to shape the continuation of this gripping narrative, there's a unique sense of full-circle closure being promised. The expectations are towering, not just because of the legacy, but because of the current era's cinematic landscape, which is ripe for a return to raw, grounded horror that reflects real-world dread through a terrifying fictional lens. The very concept of time elapsed, 28 years, immediately suggests a world that has evolved, decayed, or perhaps been rebuilt only to collapse again. Unlike the relatively short gaps in the first 2 films, 28 Days and 28 Weeks respectively, the choice to jump forward almost 3 decades opens up vast narrative possibilities. One of the most intriguing aspects is the question of how society has endured or adapted in the face of such long-standing devastation. Are there pockets of humanity clinging to remnants of civilization, or has the infection burned itself out, leaving behind ruins, myths, and a primal struggle to survive? Perhaps entirely new generations have risen, knowing the infected not as a present threat, but as a terrifying legend passed down through stories and warning signs left on cracked concrete walls. These possibilities ignite a powerful sense of mystery that the filmmakers are no doubt eager to explore. The time jump alone promises thematic richness, as it invites viewers to ponder what survival really means after the world has ended not once, but countless times over decades. From a creative standpoint, the reunion of director Danny Boyle and screenwriter Alex Garland is monumental. These two were instrumental in the birth of the original 28 Days Later, which debuted in 2002 and quickly became a genre-defining classic. Boyle's unique directorial style, combined with Garland's deeply psychological and human-centered script, created a chilling atmosphere that felt disturbingly plausible. Unlike many zombie films that relied on jump scares and gore, 28 Days Later was haunting because of its quiet dread, morally complex characters, and socio-political undercurrents. Their return brings not only credibility, but also a promise that this sequel won't be a simple rehash or fan service cash-in. Instead, the pair seems poised to bring an evolved vision, shaped by years of experience and a changed world. In an era marked by pandemics, misinformation, and global instability, the horror of a virus that dismantles society feels more resonant than ever. This real-world parallel could add a layer of timely commentary to the new film, offering viewers not just scares but sobering reflections. Casting news has only added to the excitement, especially with the confirmation that Cillian Murphy, who portrayed Jim in the original film, will be involved, this time as an executive producer. While it hasn't been officially stated whether he'll reprise his role on screen, fans can't help but speculate about a potential return. Murphy's character Jim was last seen escaping with Selena and Hannah after surviving the carnage, and if he's still alive in this timeline, he would be an aged, battle-scarred survivor with decades of trauma and survival wisdom. His return, whether central or symbolic, could provide a powerful emotional through line that ties the trilogy together. Even if he's behind the scenes, Murphy's creative involvement suggests a deep respect for the story's legacy and a commitment to maintaining its integrity. His career has exploded since the original, with major roles in everything from Peaky Blinders to Oppenheimer, and his stature adds another layer of prestige to the project. While specific plot details are being kept under tight wraps, speculation is rampant. Will the virus mutate? Could there be new forms of infection? Might the story focus on a younger generation born into this broken world, with no memory of life before the collapse? These questions fuel endless discussion, especially given Garland's penchant for cerebral, character-driven stories. His more recent work, including Ex Machina and Annihilation, suggests that he might infuse 28 years later with deeper philosophical themes about identity, evolution, and the very nature of humanity under duress. There's also the question of setting. The original films were rooted in the UK, with empty streets of London becoming instantly iconic. But a 28-year gap offers the chance to broaden the scope, perhaps showing how other parts of the world responded, failed, or adapted. Could we see the virus reaching North America, mainland Europe, or even isolated regions with their own terrifying interpretations of survival? Expanding the geography of the story could increase the scale and stakes while offering fresh visual and narrative material. The tone and aesthetic of the new film will also be under intense scrutiny. The original movies had a grainy, gritty look, with handheld camera work and a raw documentary-style realism that made the horror feel immediate and personal. Recreating that feeling, or evolving it in a way that honors the original without feeling outdated, will be a challenge. Boyle's return as director, however, gives fans hope that the balance will be struck. His command of visual storytelling, use of music, and talent for building tension are unparalleled. Whether it's the eerie quiet of an abandoned hospital or the sudden chaos of an infected attack, Boyle knows how to control mood like few others. The expectation is that 28 years later will retain that visceral edge while incorporating modern cinematic techniques to heighten the terror. And while technology has improved, it's likely that Boyle and Garland will avoid the overuse of CGI, instead focusing on practical effects, real locations, and the kind of grounded storytelling that made the original so unforgettable. There's also immense curiosity about the virus itself. Known as the rage virus, it spread through blood and saliva, turning victims into violent, mindless creatures within seconds. It wasn't a traditional zombie infection. It didn't involve the dead rising, but rather a horrifying loss of control, a metaphor for unchecked anger and societal collapse. After 28 years, could the virus have evolved? Perhaps it has gone dormant and resurged, or mutated into a new form with even more terrifying consequences. There might be factions of people trying to harness or cure it, while others seek to destroy every trace. The mythos around the virus, its origins, spread, and legacy, offers a wealth of material for exploration. Garland, known for exploring scientific and ethical dilemmas in his stories, might dive into the implications of a virus that is more than just a threat. It's a mirror to humanity's own worst instincts. In terms of character development, the new film offers an opportunity to introduce a fresh ensemble while perhaps revisiting old faces. If the virus is still a threat, or if remnants of infected roam the wild, survivors would need to be hardened, tactical, and constantly vigilant. This kind of environment breeds unique character dynamics, people shaped by tragedy, loss, and the primal need to survive. Trust would be scarce, and alliances could be fleeting. Garland's strength lies in writing layered, morally ambiguous characters, and it's likely that 28 years later will feature individuals whose motivations are complex and often conflicting. Themes of hope, despair, loyalty, and betrayal could drive the emotional engine of the film, just as they did in its predecessors. What also makes 28 years later such an exciting proposition is how it could serve as a culmination, a thematic, and emotional payoff that spans decades. While 28 Days Later focused on the immediate shock and survival after the outbreak, and 28 Weeks Later explored the military response and attempts at rebuilding, this new chapter could address the long-term consequences. How does humanity endure trauma for generations? How do you build a future when the past is filled with blood and fire? Are people even capable of redemption after so much destruction? These questions go beyond horror and touch on the essence of the human condition. They're the kind of questions that elevate a genre film into something profound. And with Boyle and Garland at the helm, there's a strong chance 28 years later will do just that. Another exciting prospect is the film's music and sound design. The original score, especially the iconic track In the House in a Heartbeat by Cillian Murphy, became a haunting signature of the franchise. The music didn't just accompany the visuals, it amplified them, sinking into the viewer's skin. If Murphy returns or if a new composer builds on that legacy, the score could once again become a character in itself. Sound is often an underrated component of horror, but in this series, it has always been essential. From the eerie silence Of empty cities to the deafening screams of infected mobs, the auditory landscape helps build the immersive nightmare. Fans are hoping for a soundtrack that recaptures that magic while evolving it for a modern audience. The production timeline has also sparked interest, especially since the development of this third film has been rumored for years.